Welcome as we continue our study of Colossians chapter 1, verse 29, which also I labor, struggling according to the working of him who works in me in power. So labor is kopio, and it means to work to grow weary, to labor to exhaustion. And then struggling or fighting is agonizomai, which is where we get the word agony. And you can see in the root here, agon. And the original use was, so if you think about the Olympic Games, when they competed in the Olympic Games, they contended in those games. This was the word that it would have been used to fight to describe the fight, to describe the match. And so it has this nuance of not just being a battle, or a contest, but also being particularly grueling or painful. According to the working is an Asia, and I've seen this word a bunch, and it's it has a few other words related to it. So we see actually the one who works in me, and that's renagio, which comes from this word. And so, interesting. So it's an efficient work. And one of the things I've never noticed before is that it's used in a New Testament only of superhuman power. It can be good or bad, it can be of God or of Satan. But in total, it's only used 8 times. And I went through and checked, and indeed, every one of these is used as far as God's working in us, with the exception of the one in um, Thessalonians, which is related to Satan, and I believe that looks at Isaiah and Daniel as well as maybe Revelations, as far as I believe that's in reference to the beast. I have to look back at that to verify it, but I think that's what that one's referring to. Of him who works in me. So again, that is it's related. It is still a efficient work. You can see that it comes from the same word, which is energes, or effectual or powerful work. And it means to be at work or to put forth power. And the last word, which is power, is dunamis. We've talked about this before. I love these physics terms, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with dwelling into it. It is the word we get from dunamis. Remember that it is both a force as well as it's multiplied by a velocity, right? So it's active. It's not just a strength or a capacity. It's accomplishing, right? It's performing work. It is doing something. And so in this particular nuance, is talking about God's power in Paul, but it also frequently uses this word for describing God's power in us, the same power that rose Christ from the dead. So that's a lot. And so basically what Paul is saying here is that, he's committed to the same mission that he is challenging us to do in verse 28, that we go out and announce Christ to the world, and that we teach everyone about him, and work to grow everyone up in full maturity in Christ, so that the world has the character of Christ. Or I shouldn't say the world, but every man has the character of Christ. That is the mission, and Paul is saying that he also performs that mission, and he does it to exhaustion. He works through it in agony, because he works so hard at it, and he's doing that as an example of us, as a challenge for us to try and imitate.